Geguri, the first Overwatch female pro player, has inspired millions, and there are new Overwatch League teams on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa, and I'm back from New York City. It's been one hell of a trip, but I'm finally back home, and I will not tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how beautiful it is to literally just sit down at my computer and then start recording. It's so much easier when you're sitting in a fancy little recording space rather than trying to do it in a hotel room. All right, let's get stuck into this. So, Nate Nanza, actually, Esports spoke to him about Geguri, and he said this, which is really, really cool. He says Geguri has inspired millions of girls around the world, and that is a really powerful thing. Now, you guys know who Geguri is. In case you don't, I'll do a quick little rundown. She is the very first female pro player in Overwatch League. Now, typically, esports is a man's thing. There's loads of men. They're in all the top teams. I mean, all the teams are comprised of men across multiple sports. Yeah, there are things where there are all-female teams, but typically they don't really do too well. And in the past, they've kind of been for marketing, which is a terrible idea. You do not want to bring females into the game for marketing because that's stupid. You bring people in based off merit. Geguri is one of the best off-tank players there is. She's really good on D.Va, really, really good on Zarya. In fact, that's how she came to fame. Her Zarya play is insane. Now, of course, she's from South Korea, which is seen as the mecca of professional gaming. So it kind of makes sense that the very first Overwatch Pro female player comes from South Korea. And you cannot deny that everything she has done has been extremely positive for the game. But what I must stress is she is there on merit. She's not there for marketing. She is as good, if not better, than people in other teams that are males that play the same role. And that is the absolutely huge thing to take from all of this. So, Esports spoke to Nate Nanza, who's the commissioner of Overwatch League, at the press event, which was the day before the Overwatch League finals happened in New York City. Now, I was actually there at the press event. I wasn't doing any press-related stuff. I was just sort of walking around talking to people. But it's really interesting what Nate said. I mean, he says that hopefully diversity grows from there, and it's not going to happen overnight. And it's true, right? This isn't just going to happen overnight. You can't just shoehorn women into the game because it's just not really going to work, right? You have to be at the level to compete with the other players, because what you don't want is to go onto the stage and get obliterated. Now, I know Shanghai Dragons lost every single match of the season, which is not great. That's not Geguri's fault. One of the things I remember when Geguri played her very first game, I was lucky enough to be at the arena. There was a lot of press at the arena, and they were all interested in Geguri. They were like, oh, she's going to absolutely turn the team around. She's going to win. Shanghai is going to start winning all their matches. And it was quite shocking to me because that's not really how Overwatch works. You could put the best player in the world into Shanghai Dragons, and it doesn't mean that they're going to win. That team has a lot of problems. Hopefully they fix those problems, but it comes down to communication in the team. Their strategies they use are quite bad. It's probably a coaching issue as well. Just throwing a player into that and expecting results is well, it's just not really going to work. So I did kind of feel a bit bad for Geguri then. There was a really heavy spotlight placed on her, and she played well, and she has played well in every single game. But Shanghai keep losing, which is a shame. If they fix those problems, then that's only going to be great for her and, well, everybody else involved with Overwatch. Nate also went on to say this. He said, from our perspective, a great first step is to make the Overwatch League one that, as a fan, you feel included in no matter who you are or where you're from. We've done things this year like Pride Day at the Blizzard Arena, which I think was an awesome event. We want to do more things like that in the future. This is the interesting thing, right, about Overwatch. Every single Overwatch event I've gone to, it feels like a family event. And I don't mean like a family thing like, oh, you know, bring your kids and it's like not really for adults. I mean like a family like everybody together is part of the same family, yeah? There were babies there in the arena. In fact, I took a picture with a Spitfire baby. It was the most surreal thing ever. It was crazy. If you're watching this video, do send me that picture on Twitter. I would really like to see that. It was pretty damn funny. But what I mean, it's a family. It's all inclusive, right? You get this at BlizzCon. If any of you guys have been lucky to go to BlizzCon, it's exactly the same thing. You don't go there and it's not like, oh, we hate you because you like a different game. There are World of Warcraft fans there. There's Hearthstone fans there. There's StarCraft fans, Diablo, Overwatch. Nobody's like, we hate your game, get out of our face. So I'm an Overwatch player, so I don't want to talk to StarCraft, get out my face. No, everybody, it's like a family-friendly atmosphere. It feels really safe, yeah? In New York, in the Barclays Arena, it was exactly the same thing again. You can see by all of the pictures that have been released, right? Fans are all sitting together. There isn't segregation. It isn't like, this is where the Philly fans sit, this is where the London fans sit, because if they're together, there's going to be problems. It's not like that. It's very friendly. And I was lucky enough to speak to people who have worked on events before with other games, and they've said the same thing. Overwatch League is very friendly. Like, you can go there and you can have like a really great, awesome time out. It's not like you're going there to start a war, right? I have played a lot of football back in my day, and I've been to football matches, and they can often be quite tribal. It's sort of like, we hate them, so we'll start chanting at them, like if anything happens, we hate them sort of thing. That doesn't happen with Overwatch League. So in that sense, it already is quite... it's very inclusive. Everybody is welcome, and that's the beauty. And also, Overwatch is a game with literally every kind of person is represented. Okay, not every kind of person, but most people are represented in the game, and that's awesome. Well, there's a hamster as well, and a monkey from the moon. Although one thing I do kind of wish Blizzard would sort is we know that Tracer is openly gay, but there's also another character. But Blizzard haven't told us who that is. So come on, Blizz, you can't tell us this. I mean, it told us this years ago. Well, yeah, it probably was years ago now. You've got to follow through. You've got to give us information, Blizzard. What's going on? We need more lore, which actually is an interesting thing. They have picked up an award-winning fiction writer who is now working on Overwatch. So hopefully we'll see some really awesome lore coming out in the near future. Yeah, so I want to end the Geguri section on this. Like, if you are a female or a lady, let's say lady, you're a lady, a lovely lady, watching this video, do you want to be a pro gamer? Do you feel like there is now more sort of acceptance of ladies in esports because of what Geguri has done? I think everything she's done has been positive. She's a damn good player. Let's not forget that. She's not just put in there because she's a lady. That's awesome, right? Do you watch that and think, okay, now I can actually get into this? Because let's not, beat around the bush here. Esports is a male-dominated thing. Gaming overall is kind of male-dominated. So it is nice that, it's kind of starting to open up. Okay, let's talk about new Overwatch League teams. Now, there are 3 teams that have apparently been leaked. We don't have any details just yet or confirmation of this. Hopefully we get this soon. But we believe that Paris, Guangzhou, which is in China, I think I pronounced that correctly, and Atlanta, right? So you've got a North American, a European team, and another Chinese team, okay? Which is kind of funny because it probably means that if it is true, then Shanghai... Well, at least a Chinese team will win because you can't draw in Overwatch. So when Shanghai play Guangzhou, then yeah. Now, the big question is, what are the names going to be for these teams? And are the leaks actually correct? They probably are, right? They're coming from some pretty good sources. So ESPN and Jacob Wolf have been reporting on this, and Slasher has also been reporting on it, the good old leak boy of Overwatch. And they expected something to happen yesterday, but actually nothing did happen. Now, the question is, what are we going to see here from these teams? And, where could they go, right? Now, I think there's actually quite a big pool of players still available. There's obviously Korean contenders, there's NA contenders, there's EU contenders. There's a lot of good players around that you could build a team from. So what we'll probably see is these teams, when they get formed and when they sort of are officially announced, they will start going out and looking at those other players that are not in Overwatch League teams. That's the critical thing. They can't actually get access to Overwatch League players for a while yet, I don't think. Overwatch League teams, I believe, now can start doing, I think it's from August the 1st, can start speaking with other Overwatch League teams to try and get players. But the fact is, I think there's a lot of players out there, so these teams should actually be quite good, because there are a lot of players that wasn't picked up for Overwatch League Season 1, and there were players that were picked up that are, well, quite frankly, not good enough. So we're going to see a lot of changes, and this is going to be really awesome. Big question is, though, what would these teams look like, and what are the other teams? So Blizzard have said to us there are 6 new teams. At least, right? Now, I don't know. Well, I think Blizzard have said that to us. I don't think that's 100% confirmed by Blizzard, but that's what we believe Blizzard are trying to sell. 2 in North America, 2 in Europe, 2 in Asia. Now, if we've got Paris coming to Europe, what will the other team be? Will this be Berlin? Now, Berlin kind of does make sense, right? Because Germany is big on esports. It would be nice to see a Berlin-based team. What about the Netherlands? What about Amsterdam? What about Spain? What about Madrid or Barcelona? What about Italy? What about Rome? There's a lot of places in Europe you could actually go. But I hope the Paris one is confirmed, because we need another European team. It's all right having London, but you need another European team. If you want a global league, you cannot just have American franchises, which is what the Overwatch League essentially is. When we go over to, let's go over to Asia. So another Chinese team kind of makes sense. I mean, China is a big, big place. You could literally have another 50 teams probably in China. This is good, I think, because there's a lot of Chinese players out there. Chinese contenders is really damn good. There's a lot of really awesome players, and they play the game in a completely different way. So it would be interesting to see a fully sort of transplanted contenders Chinese team straight into Overwatch League to see what they could do. So yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. But where else do you go in Asia? Do you go to Thailand? This was something that we thought could be an option, because I believe one of the Overwatch League stages is being played there. You've got what about Japan? That'd be really cool. Imagine a Tokyo team. Maybe you could go down into Australia and say, what about a Sydney team? So there's a lot of options over in Asia as well. In North America, this is the interesting one. Atlanta, I don't think, was something that we kind of expected. Now, according to Jacob Wolf, who is an ESPN writer, he says that Cox Enterprises is going to fund the Atlanta team. Now, this is a rather large company, I do believe. So it would obviously have a lot of backing behind it. The interesting thing is, this isn't Chicago, and this isn't somewhere like Vancouver, I guess. Although, to be honest, I guess you could say that Atlanta is kind of up there with your Vancouvers and stuff. But Chicago is kind of the missing element here. And of course, the other thing is, what about Canada? Where's Toronto? Canada should have some sort of representation. And then what about South America as well? What about like a Brazilian-based team? Rio de Janeiro, that'd be awesome, right? There's lots of things you can do with this, but I think the fact is we are going to see more American teams definitely in the future, because American investors probably want an American team, right? It would make sense. So let's end the video on this. What would you call these three teams? Now, hopefully we get an announcement fairly soon. What would you call the Atlanta team? Something like the Atlanta Phoenixes, the Atlanta Firebirds? Because I think the motto of the state of Atlanta is Rise Again in Latin. So Blizzard tend to like to do things that sort of relate to the place that they come from, especially with the Overwatch League team name. So probably we'll see something along those kind of lines, possibly. As for the Chinese one, Guangzhou province, I have no idea what they could do with that. I mean, you've already got Shanghai Dragon, so Guangzhou is a bit of a mouthful to say, but that might just be me not, being able to speak Mandarin, I guess, or pronounce the names correctly. But this could go anywhere. I'm not really sure. And Atlanta, well, we just covered Atlanta, but Paris has got to be the baguettes, right? No, I'm sure that would be something to do with liberty, probably. Something to do with like the history of France. It won't be baguettes, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be like onions or garlic or something like that. That's not going to happen. Or croissants, as funny as that would be. Go crazy in the comments anyway. Let me know what you think. What do you think these teams could be named? And are you disappointed at the announcement of these teams? And where do you think the three other teams should be? Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. And you can follow me on Instagram, which is @Stylosa, or Instagram.com/Stylosa. And click the bell thing on the video, because then you will get alerted when the videos go live. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.